Hello, 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 hello. Hey, this is Warren Redlick. Thank you so much for watching. I've been there's just a lot of turmoil right now in the Tesla community. People upset about layoffs or Drew Baglino leaving the company or uh, Rohan Patel leaving the company. A lot of concerns about a lot of things. Hi, Mark Plot. Thank you so much for joining. So I know it's early in the live stream, so not as many people will be watching it. I'll probably say some of this again shortly, but I just want to stress we're going to see bumps along the road. We have seen many bumps along the road. If you read the Elon Musk biography, if you read Liftoff by Eric Berger about the history of SpaceX, this is, by the way, this is just sort of an impromptu stream. I've been paying attention. There's been a lot of stuff happening in the last, I don't know, 12 hours, 24 hours, whatever, with the layoffs hinted and then announced or sort of announced and key people leaving. And I see a lot of angst in the community. I have many DMs from people worried and like, well, we've been through this before. JT Straubel left the company. Now he's back as a board member. Jerome Guillen left. There's an endless stream. Andre Karpathy left and FSD got better. So yes, I'm still in Thailand. I'm in a condo near a place called Prampong, Phrompphong. So I'm exploring different parts of Thailand. So the short thing is, look, this is just something that Elon's companies do. He shakes things up. And it's easy to focus in the moment and say, oh no, everything's going wrong. Oh no, I'm terrified. Everything's not going wrong. Everything is great. Everything is going to get better. Are there bumps in the road? Yeah. Well, there's always bumps in the road. I don't think Edison had a smooth ride. Alexander the Great, I'm not sure you want to use him, or Genghis Khan. I'm sure they had losses along the way. You have ups and you have downs. The down we're experiencing isn't that bad. Like, if you think this is a bad period, like, well, the company's still growing. They're advancing technology like crazy. There's massive, massive gains in technology. If you're not paying attention to what's happening with FSD version 12, right? Great stuff happening. Now, this doesn't stop Lost Gerbil, aka Ross Gerber. What was I going with? Lost Gender. Lost Gender. I think I'm thinking about changing him to Lost Gender, but that's too controversial. So Lost Gerber, you've got Barry Black, aka Gary Black. He posted. I don't. He's blocked me, so I have to check him from my burner account. But Gary first said that Drew and Rohan were fired to be held accountable for the the delivery issues. Not delivering as many vehicles. It was like, well, neither one of them has anything to do with delivering vehicles. Like, Drew's in charge of production and Rohan's in charge of like government relations and business development. Neither one of them fits any of that. So the best employee is no employee. The best, I don't believe the best employee is no employee. I don't believe that. But I think that when you look at what's happening, you're seeing these bumps in the road. We've seen so many bumps in the road before. I mean, this is nothing compared to the Model 3 ramp. Tesla's been near the edge of bankruptcy at least once and maybe twice in its history. We are nowhere close to bankruptcy. You've got like $30 billion in the bank account, right? There's $30 billion in cash laying around. We're way beyond like the serious troubles that Tesla had on the way here. Bo, are you an employee? Bo, are you leaving because you're an employee? So that just want to start with the short term focus there, that you get the Lost Gerbils and the Barry Glacks and the Meet Kevins. We got to come up with a nick. Somebody told me I need to come up with a new nickname for Meet Kevin. And they're, everything's wrong and it's always Elon's fault and blah, blah, blah. And like, okay, well, let's talk about where we're going. This is what I want to focus on. Where are we going? Where do these bumps in the road take us? And we'll start with Tesla. Where they take us, where we are now, okay, before, like right today, the vast majority of cars on the road are gasoline or diesel cars that are spewing pollution into our atmosphere, that are requiring massive efforts to extract petroleum from the ground, ship it across the world, put it in a refinery where it's converted into something useful, creating waste products, creating more pollution in the air. Um, Nuclear power might be a part of it, but I'm not going to be talking about that in this because I don't. As far as I know, Elon is not focused on nuclear power, and I'm focused on the amazing future Elon's bringing us. But this is the world we live in today. Is coal is being burned to create electricity, and that pollutes the air. And we have these stinky ships steaming across the ocean, burning the worst kind of fuel called bunker fuel, polluting the air, polluting the ocean. There's all kinds of things that are going on that and humans have to drive themselves and they drive badly and people get injured and people die. I just recently, I'm living in Thailand right now. I'm in Thailand right now, still nomading, but currently in Thailand. And you see, I just found this out. Thailand has one of the highest traffic fatality rates in the world. And I'm not surprised by what I see. Many people on motorcycles and scooters, sometimes 3 or even 4 people on a scooter with no helmets. And frankly, not the best roads and not the best drivers. And I think Thailand's a wonderful place, but I think that we are heading towards a future where first in wealthy countries, and unfortunately this path has to start with wealthy countries because that's just the way the world works, wealthy countries shift to a world of autonomous cars that are much safer than, like, first of all, Tesla cars are safer than existing cars. Second of all, autonomous vehicles are safer than human driven vehicles. And that is the world we are heading towards. We are heading towards a world, sorry. We are heading towards a world where cars are driven by robots rather than humans, and they don't crash. And we put more people in safer forms of transportation. You start with that in the United States. You start with that in Europe. Europe might be a little slower because of their bureaucracy. Canada, China will adopt, Japan will adopt, and people will be safer, and there will be less pollution coming from our transportation system. I believe that we're going to see the Boring Company do tunnels from North America into China, and a lot of trans-Pacific cargo will no longer be shipped on diesel ships and instead will go on electric-powered containers going through tunnels. And that will be more efficient, cheaper, faster, and cleaner than what we're doing now. There's just so many steps to the future that we're seeing. A lot of jobs, there's a lot of labor shortages and a lot of jobs that people do that are unpleasant, that are dangerous. And we're going to see Optimus start taking some of those jobs where humans really don't like doing that work. Those humans are freed up to do more higher value added work that is safer, right? And people say, oh no, they're destroying jobs. Yeah, ATMs were supposed to destroy bank teller jobs, and bank teller jobs doubled. The idea that random, teamster or politician can predict that this is going to destroy jobs for humans, like, they don't know. Just because you can't see the jobs of the future doesn't mean the jobs of the future don't exist. Nobody anticipated social media marketing as a job. Nobody anticipated search engine optimization, search engine marketing as a job if you go back 30 years. The internet and technology changes things, and you see a lot of great opportunities come up. But there's a bigger deal here, which is as this technology advances, it lowers cost of production. It lowers growing hair on heads. Thank you. I have some hair. It lowers the cost of producing goods. It lowers the cost of providing services. So consumers on the other end spend less money and need to make less money from work. This is just a reality of how technology works, and people don't like it. What is your plan on your Model X Plaid? Did you already sell it? I technically still own my Model X Plaid, but a friend is driving it and making my car payments. And the plan is that he is buying the vehicle. When the official transaction trends over and he actually owns it, I don't know. So FSD is working great. We're seeing massive improvements in FSD. That's going to translate into Optimus working great. And as a Tesla, and I'm wearing the Tesla Air t-shirt deliberately. This actually needs to be watched, but I wore this shirt deliberately. You can buy it at elonbits.com. This is not, are you a millionaire today because of Tesla? It's, will you be a millionaire in 2030 or 2032 or 2035 because of Tesla? And I think as a shareholder, I'm looking at a future where, okay, the economy's a little bit down. Deliveries aren't growing as fast as I would like. But on the whole, things are good. And, does laying off people suck? Yeah. But sometimes you got to shake the tree to get rid of the bad fruit. And I think there's more Um, Elon's message, assuming it's real, right? Elon's message. You get these leaks and stuff, and I just want to actually I want to comment on this really quick. There was an initial story from Electrek, which friends don't let friends read Electrek, that Tesla was cutting 20% of jobs, and that and among the rumors that flew around were that Ashok Ellaswamy had left Tesla. So it was Drew and Rohan and Ashok were leaving Tesla, and 20% of jobs were being cut. Now it turns out that 10% of jobs are being cut, and Drew and Rohan are leaving Tesla. But don't forget the people who spread the rumors spread false rumors too. I think there's also a rumor that Cybertruck production is stopping. Really? They're going to stop making Cybertruck? So, half the rumors were false. And the rumors started, and everyone believes every rumor is true. It's like, no, you got to. I joked on X that rumors are easy and verification is hard. So you have that short-term bump. But where are we going? We are going to this amazing future where the cars drive themselves. We're all a lot safer. We don't have to play the line following game, as Andrei Karpathy puts it. Don't forget, Andrei Karpathy left Tesla and everything was going to end. And then, of course, FSD version 12 came out after Karpathy left. And gosh, everything seems to be okay with FSD without Andrei. And I love Drew. I'm probably the president of the Drew Baglino fan club. I really think the guy is fantastic. I think I'm the only one who made a video about his talk at Stanford. Jordan Giesecke of the Limiting Factor, also a fan, so I should clarify that. But I'm like a huge Drew Baglino fan. And I'm not thrilled that he's leaving the company, but 18 years is a long run. And I think Drew and Zach Kirkhorn, who left not that long ago, are both positioned to get CEO job offers at other companies, and good for them. I want them to be successful. I want them to do well, and I think that guys like that going to other companies can make other companies bring us to a better future too. It doesn't have to be that the entire great future comes through Elon. It'd be great if disciples of Elon, if we can call them that, go to other companies and enact radical change in those companies and really accelerate the future in other ways. Yeah, Elon man bad is always the story, right? So just on the car side, just on the Tesla side, you can see the car story, you can see the Optimus story, and people who are like, oh no, Tesla, the Mayor Thacker, who I like, but I'm disappointed in lately, so obsessed with, oh, well, margins are going to be down this quarter, and like, who cares? We are in a position right now with Tesla where we have this great growth phase, and they are basically restructuring the company to head toward a different type of growth. We are going from a fast vehicle production growth and fast vehicle sales growth to a transition to an AI and robotics company that is delivering really services. They're going to produce vehicles to provide the service of transportation, to provide the services that Optimus is going to provide. And that's a much higher value generation for the company and for shareholders who want to be Teslaonaires than making machines and selling them to people. The value generated by a robotaxi is 5x, 10x the value generated by a car. The value generated by Optimus is insane. There's so much potential for all this to go up. I don't think the world is driven by advertising. The world is driven by great products and great services. So Zach, Drew, and Andrei will end up on the board of directors. I don't think so. I mean, JB Straubel's on the board of directors, so it's not insane to think that one of them might come back and be on the board of directors. Andrei Karpathy does not want to be on a board of directors. That's not who Andrei is. So the Cybertruck, no, it's not whether there's a Cybertruck production pause. There's a rumor that Tesla is going to stop making and selling Cybertrucks, which is total ridiculous. As far as I know, they're still producing Cybertrucks. They had one little fix that they had to make, and they're fixing it. They fixed it. Cybertruck is having many issues. Come on. So there's a lot of look. Anytime Tesla produces any product, then there's Tesla Q screaming to the wind and media screaming to the wind that there's all these problems with the product, and then Model Y becomes the best-selling car in the world. It's fine. So that's all short-term stuff. Where are we going? We are going to a world where instead of having over 1 million people a year dying in car accidents, we go to a world where less than 10,000 people a year die in car accidents. Maybe, trending towards zero. That is one of the places we're going, where serious injuries and death are no longer common, especially in places like Thailand, where I am, Dominican Republic, which may have the worst traffic fatality rate in the world, Can we change the world to the point where far fewer people die in traffic? That's huge. Can we change the world to the point where air pollution becomes a thing of the past? Air pollution is pretty small in America. Air pollution is pretty small in a lot of places. But in Southeast Asia, air pollution is terrible. In China, air pollution is terrible. In India, air pollution is terrible. For half of the world is breathing crappy air and leading to early death, right? So can we transition to the world to forget about climate? You can talk about climate change if you want to, and that's important, right? If you're concerned about climate change is important. But breathing clean air for humans is important. And whether you believe in climate change or not, we can all agree breathing bad air that leads to early death is bad for humanity. And we are headed towards ending that. And Tesla is driving that train. And if you want to be, not only when you're investing in Tesla, you're investing in a company that's going to make you a Teslanaire, right? But you're also investing in a company that is making the world a better place. It is making a safer world. It is making a cleaner world. It is making a healthier world, right? So great things happening with Tesla. Lowering the cost of goods, lowering the cost of services, making the world a better place. There's all these great issues happening. All these great things happening. So, Sir says you were up late last night, now back up discussing this Drew Baglino leave. Sounds like you think it's an issue. Well, obviously it's an issue. Anything's an issue. I was up late last night. I think I went to sleep around 12:45 Thailand time, and I actually slept till like 8:15, which is amazing. I never sleep that long without even waking up in the middle of the night to pee. Amazing, amazing, amazing night. And I woke up this morning and I checked, and I was gonna wait till another several hours to do this live stream, and I'm feeling it, and I really feel the message is the future. So we've talked about Tesla's future, right? Safer transportation, cleaner transportation, Optimus providing goods and services, and a lot of this is going to interconnect as we go on. The development of real world AI and the development of artificial general intelligence, if we're going to call it that, because that's kind of hairy. What do we mean by that? But XAI's developments with Grok, all these things are going to come together in a lot of ways. So one of the second thing I want to talk about, let's step aside from Tesla for a second. Let's look at SpaceX. What is SpaceX doing right now? SpaceX is delivering internet connectivity around the world to places that did not have internet connectivity before. All of a sudden, the high-speed internet is available anywhere in the world. And even if you just have a cell phone and you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no cell signal, almost ready. Like they're already launching the satellites that are going to enable this. They've already tested it. We've seen the tests work. If you have, at least for now, a T-Mobile phone, and I'm sure other phone services will join up with this, you will be able to at least send text messages and make limited phone calls from anywhere on Earth via satellite. Like this is like amazing stuff that's coming, and that's just Starlink, right? And Starlink is radically going to improve internet access for people around the world. I'd say in 3 or 4 years, I'm probably going to have built a house in Thailand, and I'll probably be using Starlink from that house. And I'll probably have solar panels on the roof, and I'll probably have power walls in the house. I'm actually thinking pretty far forward, but 2, 3 years, maybe we're going to build this house. I'm getting excited about this. So, do we know the structure of the layoffs? Well, number one, I would bet there's not a lot of layoffs in the AI team, right? I'm going to guess there's not a lot of layoffs in the AI team, and I'm going to guess that there's, they're going to figure out where they need to lay people off. I don't have any comments on ETFs. So then let's look at SpaceX. Where are we going? And I had this thought. The reason I decided to do the video now is I just had this thought and I couldn't get it out of my head. All right, imagine you're in the year 2040. We're going to use 2040 first. We're going to use other years. But imagine you're in the year 2040 and you're looking back and saying, which company has made life better on Earth for everyone? And you can look at Elon's companies and you can look at other companies, right? Which company has improved humanity the most, right? Which company has made the greatest difference for humanity? And I think for that question, for the Earth question, I think Tesla in 2040 will probably be number one. Boring Company could be. Boring Company is an underground choice, right? It's a below the radar choice there. But Boring Company, if Boring Company succeeds in boring all the tunnels, I think they're going to bore and takes cargo ships off the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean as well, and reduces all that pollution from ships and delivers transportation and makes it easier to get to. Like if I want to fly from Los Angeles to Shanghai, it's probably like a 12-hour flight, but I think it'd be a 6-hour ride on a Hyperloop. Like, if all those dreams come true for the Boring Company, by 2040, I think we might say that Boring Company is doing amazing things on Earth. But I think the big battle in 2040 for humanity is between SpaceX and Neuralink. So let's talk. So SpaceX is, like, what we're seeing with Starship is mind blowing, mind blowing, and the next launch is coming. I think next month we're going to see another launch next month, and maybe they're going to do virtual landing with the booster. I don't think they're going to try a virtual landing yet with Starship, but when they start bringing back the booster and then they start bringing back the Starship and we start being able to do launches, frequent launches of large payloads into Earth orbit and really, get closer to the moon and, start making progress towards getting to the moon and landing large payloads on the lunar surface to build living environments, to build research stations, to make it possible for people to travel to the moon. Right? That's coming really soon. I mean, the moon, like, really making something happen on the moon is probably 5 years away or less, where you're really going to start to see those changes. And then Mars, 10 years, we'll have human boots on the ground on Mars. 20 years, the colony is going to be underway. I mean, thousands of people on Mars 20 years from now. So 2040 is in the middle of that. By 2040, I think we're going to see probably more than 1,000 people on Mars, and we're going to see actual living structures, and we're going to see the growth of a colony. And actually, that may be pessimistic. I think by 2040, you may have 10,000 people on Mars, right? And then by 2050, are we going to get to 2 million people by 2050? I just think we're seeing this crazy stuff. Space Bubble says send all of Earth's finite resources to another planet that can't support life. This is incorrect. This is the kind of thinking that makes absolutely no sense. This is sending 0.1% of Earth's finite resources to another planet that will be able to support life once we send those resources and deploy solar panels and harvest the water and do all the technological things we can do. Mark Plott says, Warren, how about we fix Earth first? Nobody is stopping fixing it. The first thing I talked about was how Tesla is making life better on Earth, right? Neuralink is going to make life better on Earth. XAI, Tesla's real world AI and XAI are making life better on Earth. And OpenAI is making life better on Earth. And Gemini and Anthropic and NVIDIA. There's lots of companies that are doing things to make life better on Earth. We haven't stopped making life better on Earth. And frankly, we're never going to fix Earth because the fundamental problem with Earth is human conflict. And human conflict is not going away, right? Because we elect insane people to lead our countries and they keep starting wars with each other. They don't get killed in the wars. Regular people get killed in the wars. Our money gets wasted. They make more money. So what are you smoking and can I have some? I'm smoking, what did I call it? Teslawana? Teslawana? Did we have a name for that? We had a name for that a while ago. I think we had a name for that a while ago. But no, I mean, this is for real. That you can follow the development of Starship. You can watch the launches yourself. You can go down to Starbase, Texas, and you can get a close-up view of the Starship factory. This stuff is happening. You can watch. Falcon 9, I think, was it Mark? I don't think Mark Patashnik is here. Falcon 9 just did. They just had the 20th launch of the same booster. The 20th reuse of the same booster. That's insane. It was supposed to be 10, and they did 20. Will the increase of moon-based math on the moon's surface potentially affect the tides on Earth? No, that will not have an impact on Earth. No, and most of what happens on the moon and Mars will be from what's called in situ resources. They will use the resources of the body they land on to build the things that they want to build. Yes, they will send millions of tons of stuff from Earth to Mars, but millions of tons of stuff is tiny compared to the mass of Earth or the mass of Mars. Or the math of the mass. Mathawana, thank you. I've been smoking Mathawana. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate you, man. Earth is not gone. Earth is doing great. Earth is getting better. Read the book, Angels of Our Better Nature. Better Angels of Our Nature, something like that. It's a great book. That there's this. We keep getting the doom and gloom from the mainstream media and social media that everything is terrible on Earth, and the reality is that life is better on Earth than it has ever been. And it will continue to get better. And people will tell you, oh, there's a crime problem. Yeah, crime problem was worse, a lot worse 100 years ago. Crime problem was probably worse 50 years ago. Oh, healthcare. Healthcare was a lot worse 50 years ago. Healthcare was a lot worse 20 years ago. Healthcare is much better today than it was before. Lee Allison says it's got a feeling it's not going to be particularly nice living on Mars. It won't be hard getting the first 100,000 volunteers, but then what? Well, the first 100,000 volunteers will make life better on Mars so that it's easier for more people to come. To imagine that they will go to Mars and not make it better is kind of not getting it. The point is to go there. Bubba Jones says, as power plants are not transitioning to nuclear power, electric vehicles are powered primarily by coal and gas. No, that's completely false. Renewable energy is growing like crazy. Solar panels are growing like crazy. Wind power is growing. There is massive opportunity for solar to grow tremendously. The cost of solar is going down. The cost of oil and gas doesn't go down. So you're seeing the spread. I'm seeing the spread of solar here. Yes, I have read The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. That was a good book. Mars will be man's next step to destroying Earth as we know it. What does that even mean? Atgul says, what is the Boring Company doing these days? So let's talk about the Boring Company. The Boring Company is developing Prufrock 3, which will be tunneling much faster and much lower cost per mile. They just, I think, opened another station in the Las Vegas Loop. So they are making progress. Can you see SpaceX using hydrogen to refuel from Mars, travel back to Earth? No, SpaceX will, they're going to use the Sabatier process on Mars to use solar power and the limited CO2 in the atmosphere and the limited water on Mars. There's enough to generate rocket fuel. Water is H2O and CO2 is in the atmosphere. So you can take CO2 and H2O and you can make CH4, which is methane, and O2, which is oxygen, and you now have propellant. You have propellant and I forget what you call the O2. But you have this the fuel, if you want to call it that, or the propellant that you need to launch off the Martian surface and come back. How do you bring water oceans back to Mars? I believe that there's a long-term plan for that, but that's hundreds of years away, and I don't think that's critical. Yes, it's Steven Pinker. Thank you, DeWiz. Steven Pinker's book, Better Angels of Our Nature. They are boring. That's right. The Boring Company's boring. It's an underground. It's an under the radar story. So Neuralink, we just had it's like so shocking to me that you just had like one of the most amazing developments in modern medical history, implanting a brain chip in a guy's head that enables him to do things he couldn't do before. A man who's quadriplegic is now able to control things on a computer, and you can see that that technology just got started, and that technology will improve, and there will be more leads on the chip, and they will find other places you can plant it in the brain to solve different problems, and they will improve the process, and they will get the cost down, and all of a sudden it's going to cost about the same for a brain chip implant as it costs for laser eye surgery. And millions of people who currently have paralysis, blindness, maybe tens or hundreds of millions of people who currently have paralysis or blindness, and many other brain diseases are going to be effectively cured and have their lives better and maybe even perform better than human in the future because of Neuralink, right? Game changer for humanity. Go back to 2040. What's a bigger impact on humanity? Cleaning the air, pretty big. Getting us off fossil fuels in general and shifting us to solar, pretty big. If you're concerned about climate change, mitigating climate change or reducing climate change, pretty big. Making us safer, fewer road deaths, fantastic. And then you compare that with curing brain disease and then taking regular people who don't have a particular brain disease and enhancing our ability to communicate with computers. Instead of holding a phone and going like this, all of a sudden you're able to do it with your mind. Amazing things to happen. So it seems to be going slow in phases, but it's going faster and it's going faster, and it's an exponential curve. So it's going like this, and it's going to accelerate. It's going to accelerate. And you're still here. You don't see this. It's not linear. It's curving up. And Prufrock 3 is going to accelerate that curve. We've seen the FSD miles curve basically went vertical. We're seeing lots of great things happening. Any interest in Energy X? I'm not familiar with Energy X. Oxidizer, thank you, Gauk. Boring might be critical on Mars. I'm not sure that Boring Company is going to be that important on Mars. I like the concept, but it may be that the energy required to bore tunnels outweighs the value generated by the tunnels. I'm just not sure of that. Keep pumping and share price still going to drop. I'm not trying. I don't care about the short term. Listen, I am waiting for my accountant to tell me how much I have to pay in taxes So I know how much money I have free so I can buy Tesla stock. I hope the stock falls. Like, I don't know if I'm going to know today or if I'm going to know a few days or a few weeks or a couple months. I don't know what's going on with my accountant, but when the stock falls, there's a really good chance that that's when I'm going to have the free cash to buy stock. So take it down. I don't care. I don't, I'm not selling this week. I'm not selling this month. I'm not selling this year. I'm happy if the stock falls. Um, Jocelyn Lovell died waiting for Neuralink. Yeah, I mean, Neuralink couldn't happen fast enough, and government slows stuff down. Once boring tunnels can wirelessly charge EVs, Earth will be Swiss cheese. Can wirelessly charge EVs? I don't fully understand that one. Let's fix Europe before looking for America. I'm not worried about Europe. Europe's somebody else's problem. What's worse, blindness or digital sight? I missed that. I missed that one. So David says, have you ever tried the Philippines, Warren? Everyone speaks English, or are you just into Thai women? I'm into women. I found a woman here I'm very happy with. I don't think I'm leaving I'm not, I'll be traveling. We're going to travel to the Philippines, but no, I found the woman. Philippines was next on my list, but I found the woman. It's not about leaving because of disasters or war. It's a journey chosen by the few. Yes, people will go to Mars because they're excited about, doing something amazing. How can we fix the next glacial maximum? I suppose we could pump out more CO2. Do I think it will fall after earnings? I don't really worry about the short-term stock price. I'm not doing this video to talk about what's going to happen to the stock price next week or next month. Like, I just don't care. I honestly, it's in my financial interest for the stock to fall because I'm expecting to have free cash soon, and I'm expecting to use that free cash to buy stock. So if the bears want to keep the stock price down, the longer they keep it down, the better for me. Because once we see FSD turn into robotaxi, game's over. The game's over. I mean, like if you're a shareholder and you look, what's a future with robotaxi? And we know that robotaxi is legal in Texas, it's legal in Florida, it's legal in California, it's legal in Arizona. Probably roughly half the US population lives in places where robotaxi is legal, and it's going to happen fast. And when robotaxi happens, and Tesla has a fleet of 10 million robotaxis making, I think $50,000 a year gross profit's low for the early days when you only have 10 million vehicles. But that's $500 billion a year in gross profit compared to $20 billion in 2022. Crazy. I believe they're boring something in Giga Texas. I'm not sure what or why. I don't think they've told us. I don't care about buybacks. The U.S. and China could change the world if they combine this. I would love to see the U.S. and China work together. I talk about that all the time. I think the U.S. and China getting together with Russia and building tunnels connecting Asia to North America, massive game changer for humanity. Massive reduction in pollution, a massive improvement in transportation, huge. If we could stop the rich and powerful people controlling our countries fighting with each other, then the regular people. Look, I meet Russians, Ukrainians, Chinese people all the time here in Thailand. There's people from all over the world are in Thailand. I'm in the Sukhumvit area where it's just filled with foreigners, filled with non-Thai people. Like and I meet people from all over the world. We all like each other. Why the fuck are our countries fighting? We all like each other. We all get along. Was in an elevator. I heard three women. Was with my girlfriend. Heard three women talking. I asked my girlfriend, "Is that German?" Because my girlfriend speaks German. She said no. I says, "I think it might be Russian." And the woman said, "We're speaking Russian and Ukrainian." They're speaking Russian and Ukrainian. Russians and Ukrainians are speaking to each other and they're getting along. But the goddamn countries are fighting because the people who run the countries are sociopaths. Will consumer Teslas get shelved? So I want to keep going on the future. Let's talk about the future. So the future is humanity. Life on Earth improves dramatically. The air gets cleaner. The roads get safer. So many advantages to that. We're able to ride with it. Our time is more efficient and more enjoyable. Because as much as you like driving a car in some circumstances, you don't like driving in a traffic jam. So if Boring Company gets rid of the traffic jams, and if the car is driving instead of you're driving, and you can focus on whatever you want to focus in, like the pretty girl in the seat next to you, or whatever you're arguing with somebody on X on your phone, all those things are resolved, and the life is better here on Earth. And the cost of goods falls, and the cost of services falls, and the crappy jobs are taken over by robots, freeing us up to do more interesting work that probably pays better than the crappy job we were doing before. there's this fantasy that like technology makes things worse, and we've gone through 100 plus years of rapidly advancing technology, and life just keeps getting better, and people just think life's getting worse. So Neuralink cures brain disease, frees us up, enables us to watch videos in our head, play video games in our head, communicate with friends directly, brain to brain. Amazing future, amazing future. The and then what AI is going to deliver. Like, I was just thinking about education. So there's a lot of complaints here in Thailand about the quality of public schools, and like we don't have that problem in the United States, right? And I'm sure that's Elon's fault too. Elon man bad, Trump man bad, whatever. It's always somebody's fault, except for the fact that maybe it's just systemic, right? Really, if you had a child with like one bot that's running Grok and one bot that's running ChatGPT and one Grok that's running Anthropic's Claude, and a kid is just asking questions and the AIs are answering the questions, and they're creating pictures for the kid to learn from, and they're creating videos from the kid to learn from, and a child gets one-on-one attention to learn the things that they want to learn, and the AI also uses that to teach them things that the kid might not want to learn directly, but understanding is valuable for that. What would you do if Tesla fell to $15 a share and never recovered? I would live a happy life in Thailand. I don't know. I mean, I'm living a happy life in Thailand now. I'm not selling stocks, so why would I stop living a happy life in Thailand? I think that's a really paranoid scenario that the stock falls to 15 and doesn't move. It's going to go up and down. If it fell to 15, I'd be buying a shit ton of stock. I can tell you that. Do I think the Quicksilver Model Y is being pumped out in Austin will be part of a pilot fleet of Tesla managed robotaxis launched this year? No, I don't think that's the point. Future is free homes, optional work. Yeah, I mean, people. It's so funny when you're stuck in the United States and you see life in the United States and you think everything's terrible, and like come to Thailand. The average Thai college graduate makes like $600 a month, pays like $80 a month in rent for an apartment with no air conditioning and no refrigerator, goes out and eats on the street for $1 a meal, right? So they spend 30, 90, what's it? $1 a day times $3 a day times 30 days. Like they spend like $100 a day, a month on food. They spend, $80 a month on rent. They spend money on transportation. You can live really cheap in a lot of places in the world, and people just freak out about everything. Video games will become totally immersive. Chris Norland is worse than Meet Kevin. I don't know Chris Norland. How do I not know that? Neuralink connecting all human beings, a kind of hive mind boosted by AI. There's nothing we can't do. I'm a little worried about that becoming a Borg scenario, Joe, but I don't hate it. So it's really hard to wrap your head around how much AI will change things. Like AI will probably help us understand fundamental physics better. And that will probably unlock technologies that we can't even anticipate yet. AI will probably unlock cures to diseases that we haven't been able to cure yet. It will unlock an understanding of the fundamental biochemistry that runs humans and runs animals. Maybe we'll be able to make meat production more humane and much higher volume and lower the cost of meat. By the way, chicken breast here is like $2 a pound. It's weird. In Asia, chicken breast is considered less desirable, so chicken breast costs less than other cuts of chicken. It's hilarious. What do you think will happen first? Elon becomes a trillionaire first, or stockholders get dividends first? Well, I don't really care about dividends, but I think Elon becomes a trillionaire before dividends because I don't think Tesla's going to do dividends anytime soon. Abner Sanchez says, everything is amazing. Haven't you heard? Everything Tesla does is good. Tesla makes mistakes, but everything is amazing. I mean, life is wonderful. I think there's a Louis C.K. bit with Conan O'Brien where he says everything is amazing and no one is happy. Go on YouTube. After you're done with this video, go on YouTube and search for Louis C.K. Everything is amazing. That is actually, I think, a quote. I think that's the title of the bit. What is the future of Giga Mexico? No one seems to know. I think the expectation is that once the robo-taxi model is ready for mass production, that it will be mass produced in Mexico, it will be mass produced in China, it will be mass produced in Berlin, and it will be mass produced in other places. Need more Tesla Man t-shirts. So the Tesla Man t-shirt was shot down by my provider. So I can't make Tesla Man t-shirts anymore, at least not currently. I may find another way to do that. Lenore Johnson says, yet they want to move to America. I haven't met many Thai people who want to move to America. I think that's a perception you have that might not be true. Life is pretty good in Thailand. My girlfriend has said, Warren, take me to America. Like, she's happy here. Life is good here. Nuclear energy will probably be required to make AI a practical reality. No, I don't think nuclear energy is required. I think nuclear energy is a good idea, but I think solar is nuclear energy. The sun is a giant fusion reactor in the sky, and it powers these solar panels. Like, nuclear doesn't. If you did nuclear right, it would be great to have that additional source of energy. But and there's some theory, Chamath Palihapitiya and others think that nuclear fusion is about to cross the threshold and become viable. We'll see. Tesla still haven't said any improvement in Optimus. What are you talking about? They did a video like what do you need? You need a video every week? They had a pretty good video like 2-3 months ago with improvements in Optimus. Optimus is going great. Fisherman with an octopus arm. Are you buying more Tesla at these low prices? If I have more free, like I don't have free cash. I'm all fully invested in it. I have some free cash right now, and I'm waiting to see what my taxes are. If my accountant says, okay, this is what you need to spend, and I see I have free cash, I'm buying more Tesla stock. Yes. Sir says, why did Drew Baglino wait until yesterday to leave? This seems like something. So my theory is that Baglino was leaning towards leaving, and Rohan Patel was leaning towards leaving, and this was the right moment to leave, because you already have the big news about the 10% reduction. So they said, well, why don't we time your departure now that will fit with what we're doing, and we get one hit in the news rather than 3 different hits in the news. Do I eat chicken feet on a steak? I do not eat chicken feet. I actually was at a meal where one of the dishes had chicken feet in it, and I did not eat chicken feet. That does not appeal to me. NVIDIA's FSD includes LiDAR, radar, and cameras. Okay, well, that means NVIDIA's FSD sucks and uses a lot more energy than necessary and isn't as effective as Vision. How much LiDAR and radar do you use when you drive a car? Is there a reason? Like, how come you don't use LiDAR and radar when you drive a car? I believe Elon said human level AI end of 2025. So human level AI is sort of, look, computers are already smarter than human in many tasks. Having a general understanding of the world to a human level is, I think, a ways away. Isn't a computer that has human level reasoning already a god? Well, aren't we gods? Are we gods in a sense? I think that once AI achieves human level intelligence, whatever that means, a week later it will have superior human intelligence, and that will be very interesting. Have I compared FSD to NVIDIA's Drive yet? Does NVIDIA's Drive exist in any car? Where are the fan videos for NVIDIA Drive? 25K car. So there's a lot of talk about whether Tesla is going to be making the next generation vehicle as a human drivable vehicle versus the robotaxi version. We don't know. Solar ties up a lot of silver. Silver costs like $25 an ounce or $30 an ounce. What's the big deal? There's lots of Thai, Cambodian restaurants and donut shops in California. Oh, I went to a great donut shop with Tesla Joy in California. There's lots of Thai restaurants in Thailand too. I haven't noticed the Cambodian restaurants, unless Isan Thai is Cambodian. Wait till NVIDIA's Drive collides. I don't even know seriously, is NVIDIA Drive in any car? Edwin Torres, you keep asking me if I compared FSD to NVIDIA's Drive yet. What car has NVIDIA's Drive? Where are show me the fan videos. Send me an email, wredlick@gmail.com. Send me a link to all the fan videos of people using NVIDIA Drive, and then I'll send you a link to a few fan videos of people driving Tesla FSD. One of them is real. One of them is a nice story. The currency of the very universe is energy. Yes. Mankind develops civilization through increasing use of energy. Yes. Energy is precisely what Tesla is working on. Making it renewable means making it cheaper. Yes. Ismail has got it. Love you, man. Bubba Jones says they're going to need over 2,000 tons of methane and O2 to refuel a single Starship on Mars. Are you referring to the Starship second stage, or are you referring to the booster and Starship? As I understand it, only the Starship, the second stage, will need to be refilled, not fuel, but refilled to launch from the Martian surface. I don't know how much they'll need, but I believe that there are like really, really, really large amounts of water on Mars. And although the atmosphere is thin, it's a really, really big atmosphere, so there's a lot of CO2 in the atmosphere. There's no shortage of stuff on Mars to be able to refill starships. Where's the Apple Car's coming. NVIDIA Drive is in Polestar 3 now. Where are the fan videos? Email wredlick@gmail.com. Email me a link to all the fan videos of NVIDIA Drive and Polestar 3. Show me where it's driving through construction zones on its own without without needing human intervention. Show me where it's doing roundabouts without human intervention. Send me that, and then we can talk. Sir says, Warren, have you considered shipping Cybertruck to Thailand? Yeah, not for publicity. Yes, I have considered shipping Cybertruck to Thailand. Just so that people know my story with Cybertruck. I am expecting to take delivery of a Cybertruck sometime later this year or early next year as a non-Foundation series. I'm not buying the Foundation series. The game plan is fly back to the US, take delivery, road trip for a couple of weeks with my girlfriend, and then probably sell the truck or maybe buy it with a friend and the friend takes ownership at the same time that I do, and then I just leave it with the friend. That's something but if it's possible, I would like to ship it to Thailand. So we'll see whether that happens. Right now, is my understanding, there's a 200% tariff on bringing vehicles from America to Thailand, and that's not really desirable. That's cost prohibitive. FSD is not available in Thailand. I believe there's some limited autopilot on roads, but I'm not sure. I haven't ridden in a Tesla in. I don't think I've ridden in a Tesla on a highway in Thailand. I think I rode in a Model Y briefly in Thailand, but not on a highway, not in a situation where you could use autopilot. I did see autopilot in work and function in Malaysia, which is the next country to the south. Is Elon going to beat you to the pod car, affordable car? As far as I know, Tesla's not going to make a pod car. I talked to Baglino about it. I talked to Martin Vieck about it. They're not making that. That's not in the plan. Not to say they will never get there, but I'll get there first if I get there at all. My problem with the pod car isn't the competition. My problem is that I got to do it. I got to make it happen. So Boring Company is going to make the world a better place. XAI is going to make the world a better place. SpaceX is going to make the world a better place. Neuralink is going to make the world a better place. Tesla's going to make the world a better place. Other companies out there are making the world. Frankly, Amazon made the world a much better place. I know people hate Facebook. I think Facebook made the world a better place. I think X has made the world a better place. I think there's a lot of great things happening. A computer that has Warren Redlich level reasoning but can process at X magnitude times faster and process data. Yes, if they process data faster and they're as smart as we are. What is your guess on the content of the robotaxi rollout event in August? Great question, Kevin. I expect that they will reveal some limited details about the vehicle itself. I expect that they will spend more time talking about the manufacturing of the vehicle because my gut hunch is the goal of the event is to attract engineers to apply to work for Tesla on the manufacturing of the car, on how to manufacture the car. Do I think offering a special Model Y as a police vehicle would boost their sales? I believe that no, because that's a low volume thing. I believe that some police agency just bought 6 Model Ys modified by Unplugged Performance for police use. Recreational vehicles, police vehicles are just low enough volume that they're not going to move the needle for Tesla. And I did just see, I don't know if people saw this, in Europe, there is now a long-range rear-wheel drive Model Y that is being offered at a fairly low price with, I think, the longest range that would work out to 340-mile range EPA. If they offer that Model Y in Thailand, that's going to be... I think there's a really strong chance I buy a Tesla in Thailand by the end of this year. I expect to not need a car to live near, but it's just like every once in a while we drive to my girlfriend's family up in Lopburi, and that's like a 3-hour drive, and I would much rather be in a Tesla than my girlfriend's Honda City. I love my girlfriend, I love her car, but I would much rather be in a Tesla. Starship up and running or FSD working at 100%, which has more positive effect on humanity? Well, that's a great question. So in the next 10 years, Tesla is having a greater effect on humanity. In the next 50 years, Starship and SpaceX are having a greater effect on humanity. I don't think it's a simple question, but life on Earth will be improved primarily by Tesla, and the spread of humanity through the solar system and eventually beyond the solar system is going to be driven by SpaceX. SpaceX is delivering material benefits on Earth through Starlink and other satellites, but that's it. Yes, it was Anaheim PD. Thank you. Martian launchpad construction will require Optimus. I think that we're going to see, that's a point I wanted to get to. The role of Optimus in Elon's other businesses, particularly in space, I think Optimus is going to be critical for developing space. It's going to make a lot more sense to have Optimus setting up solar panel installations on Mars than having humans set up solar panel installations on Mars. So one person, I think a future job will be bot herder. Your job will be herding robots, right? AI prompt engineer. You'll be prompt engineering 10 AIs at the same time, maybe. elonbits.com for merch, the Tesla and Air t-shirt. If you're looking to become a millionaire in the future, buy Tesla stock, hold it, and Not financial advice, for whatever that disclaimer is worth. What do you mean process data faster makes it smarter than we are? No, if it's as smart as we are, but it processes data faster than we do, then it's smarter than we are because it's speed. Even high volume like Hertz drop Tesla. I love how the trolls are in here. High volume like Hertz drop Tesla. All Teslas belong to Tesla only in the future. I think that we will see both Tesla-owned robotaxi fleets and other companies owning robotaxi fleets. I think Hertz did a great experiment, and Hertz got a good taste of what Teslas are like. And as the next generation vehicle comes out, it becomes more obvious. JEKM says Pod Thai or Pod CU. I am a Pod Krapow fan. I eat a lot of pad krapao. I eat a lot of larb. I don't eat a lot of noodles or rice. So pad thai and pad see are both noodle-based dishes that I don't eat a lot of. And I surprisingly, I don't see as much pad thai as you'd think. I see a lot of som tam, which is the papaya salad, and I see a lot of pad krapao here. A lot of eggs. They eat a lot of eggs in Thailand. Um, $15 a share, sure. I'm not worried about that. What are the women like in Thailand? The women are like women everywhere. They're prettier than we are. Um, they're more patient than we are, and they're wonderful when they're not being major pains in the ass. I'm personally, I think my girlfriend is wonderful, and I don't have a lot of negative things to say about her. So I'm struggling to think of anything negative to say about her. But that doesn't mean that I won't find something negative at some point in the future, and she won't find something negative about me in the future. But that doesn't mean all Thai women are wonderful, and it doesn't mean that all American women are bad. It makes sense for Optimus to build facilities on Mars, yes. The federal post office gave the electrified van contract to Oshkosh. Whatever happened? Well, there was no electrified van from Tesla, so why would that be an issue? Can FSD hear traffic and can it see hand gestures besides the most obvious ones? I don't think FSD has audio input yet. I think that's probably coming. I don't know if the cars have an external mic. There is an internal mic, so I believe they can still hear as well as a human can hear from things that happen outside because humans don't have external mics on the car either. We are definitely seeing evidence of FSD version 12 interpreting hand gestures. So I think that Optimus will arrive on Mars before humans, but I think they may be. It may be that Optimus goes with humans. I would expect that the first launch of cargo to Mars would include Optimus bots to do some kind of work, but we'll see. Thailand is a great place to retire. Vietnam's a good place to retire. Malaysia could be a good place to retire if you're not Jewish. Um, Laos, Cambodia, Japan, if you can find a way to stay in Japan, is a great place to retire. Indonesia, Bali is, I hear great things. There's lots of great places to go. And Latin America has good places, and Eastern Europe has great places. I know people are going to Portugal and Spain. Ford truck owners won't fancy the EV narrative. Listen, it doesn't matter whether people fancy the EV narrative. As more and more people buy EVs, the economy shifts, the structure shifts. EVs get more. EVs are improving rapidly because they're fairly new. Gasoline vehicles are not improving that rapidly. So what we're going to see is that gasoline vehicles are going to become increasingly less competitive. They're already less competitive than gas cars now, but they become less competitive over time. The use cases where gas is better than electric is vanishing, and as the volume of gas cars sold goes down, you see gas car makers go bankrupt, and then all of a sudden there's a cascading effect, and EVs become even more powerful. And as robotaxis become viable, each robotaxi replaces 5 or more gas vehicles, and you're just seeing a collapse of the gas vehicle market. Oh, Ben Pena says the other day you said you were doing different kind of YouTube videos because AI is able to produce better videos. Can you explain further? So it's not that AI is better able to produce better videos today. It's that I anticipate within a year or two, AI will be making better what I would call edited content. Some of the videos I make are like I take a bunch of stuff and I put it together and I make a video that I spend hours editing and then publish that video. And my edited videos are more crisp and they're more straightforward and they're more to the point and they're typically shorter. Um, they're not they don't necessarily perform better than my live stream videos. It's between edited videos and live stream videos. So I expect that AI will make better more will succeed in making edited video content that will outperform human generated edited video content, human edited video content within a year or two. And then being a YouTuber or a content creator who makes edited video will be a long-term bad plan. because you will not be able to outcompete the AIs. But live streaming will take AI 2 or 3 years longer to catch up to. So this is a more viable content creation approach for a while until AI gets better at live streaming, which I think is several years away. Can one optimist replace 3 headcount on the shop floor? I think that's the wrong way of thinking about it. MJX, is Tesla on target with compute aspirations? Yes. Elon has said that Tesla is not compute constrained now. MJX asks, can one optimist replace 3 headcount on the shop floor? I don't think that's the way I would describe it. I would say that if you currently have 10 people working on the shop floor and an optimist comes along and does enough tasks that you only need 9 people, then you've reduced the head count by 1 without the optimist replacing one specific person. And if it works 3 shifts, then you've replaced 3. Some Fords are leaking fuel, engine fires. Ford, fix it too. AI is going to be smarter than human in 20 years. Then robots are for sure going to be there before human. No. But we're gonna see I think we're gonna see significant cargo landing on Mars in 2031, which is 7 years away. Maybe 2029. I think 2029 is still a pretty strong shot. I don't think we're going to see significant launches. We may see a launch to Mars in 2026, but I think that's optimistic. So 2029, I think we see cargo launches to Mars, and you might as well include Optimus in 2029. Optimus is going to be significantly better by then and able to do meaningful work. It's not early adopter demand. Model Y is the best-selling car in the world. How is that an early adopter thing? Early adopter things don't become best-selling thing in the world. I have not formally moved to Thailand. I'm still a resident of Florida. I have been a digital nomad since August. The argument, and I've been mostly in Thailand since December, but still traveling and still nomading. The argument that people use vision to drive, so vision is all that's needed, is weak. What if you want to get way better than people? Then you have vision that looks 360 degrees, 24/7, never gets tired, never drinks, never gets sick, and is able to process what it sees better than human. So it's able to do better than human without having to use LiDAR or radar. I think that there's a strong chance that Zach and Drew will become CEOs in some other companies. I think they're great candidates to become CEOs. Will the next big step change for FSD be the removal of the steering nag and use the camera solely from I think the removal of nags entirely is the next big step change for FSD from a user perspective. ICE hasn't peaked in sales. Internal combustion engine sales are way down. They started falling in, 2020, 2021. Internal combustion engine sales have peaked. Maybe that's just US, but I don't know. I mean, certainly in China, the ICE sales are down. I think Tesla is a very hard place to work for when you have family. You have to give your entire self to it, like Elon. Yeah, I think Tesla is a very hard place to work. I think there are other places that are hard to work to. It's not just Tesla. What's your glasses number? I don't know what that even means. Great to have you doing more podcasts. Can you get back to doing your regular sessions? So I'm not doing regular sessions yet because I haven't gotten settled into I keep moving to different places and moving to different situations. I was planning on doing a live stream for I will get back to something more regular when I get back to something more regular, and it's just a question of getting to a fixed place. And I'm currently in a place that might be my long-term residence, and this is working out great. My girlfriend is sleeping downstairs. She's been working night shifts, so she's sleeping. It's almost noon here. She's sleeping downstairs. I'm upstairs in a condo, and I was able to close the doors. Sorry, we just moved in, so some things look odd, but that's outside. We actually have a backyard in this condo, so that's a nice plus. But I'm able to live stream without making noise that would bother her. So that's a plus for this location. So do we stay here? I don't know that I love this particular location, so we'll see. But once we're set in a place, then that's what's going to happen. Do I think Tesla cars with hardware 3 will be allowed to put their cars in the robo-taxi network, or do you think it will need hardware 4 plus? Well, we're seeing massive improvement in hardware 3 cars. The improvement in hardware 3 cars is accelerating. It's not flattening. So if hardware 3 cars are accelerating in their improvement, then why wouldn't hardware 3 cars be able to do what robo-taxis do? Hardware 4 cars will be better, but that doesn't mean hardware 3 won't be good enough. Elon operates Tesla like his dad ran the Emerald Mine. Sure. Yeah, the fictional Emerald Mine, yes. Everyone who leaves Tesla say they're only leaving for family and vacation. I don't think Jerome Guillen said that. I think if you follow Tesla history long enough, you'll know Jerome Guillen did not say that. Jerome Guillen did not, And then Zach Kirkhorn didn't say why. I don't think Zach Kirkhorn said why he left. How about adding echolocation? It's not necessary. Look, I realize you think all these things are necessary, but the reality is 360-degree vision is better than our vision, two cameras looking in the same direction. Having 8 cameras looking 360 degrees is better. Faster processing speed, better modeling, and better able to predict what's going to happen. There's all kinds of advantages to FSD. And if there's some technology that will make it better, they'll add it, but it's not necessary. Tesla bot can work short 4 shifts, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it needs to charge at some point, but it'll take an hour to charge it an Optimus. So maybe you charge it twice a day and you get 22 hours of work. You might not want it to work 24 hours a day. I don't know. We'll see what the optimal is there. I have a strong prescription in my right eye. I have astigmatism in my right eye. Um, Thank you, Core Glass. 100,000 subscribers this year. That seems very unlikely. My YouTube subscribership is falling. My X following is growing. We're suitly challenged. Yeah, I don't know what my numbers are for my lens prescription. I don't know it. I don't actually care, and I don't know why anybody else would care. That's an odd question. People seem to forget that Hardware 3 already has redundancy. Yes, it does. When do I expect the next car reveal? Well, I think we're going to see some robotaxi reveal on August 8th. I don't know what next car you're referring to. I think we're going to see a Tesla van. I think that long term, the next generation vehicle platform is going to include multiple forms of the vehicle. How will the taxi handle keypad entry, a robot arm? There's going to be like narrow use case situations that will be problems that will have to be solved somehow. It may be that Optimus will be in the car, depending on the circumstances. It may be that there'll be an Optimus in the car, and the Optimus will get out and deal with it. I think there's but that's the same issue. If you've ever ridden in a Grab or an Uber, and it gets to a gate, and there's no guard at the gate, and nobody knows the pad, like why is that different with a robotaxi? If the human driver of the Grab doesn't know the code and the passenger doesn't know the code, then how have you still have the same problem? So if the passenger in the car knows the code, the passenger gets out and handles the keypad entry, gets back in the car. He's like making up problems for the sake of making up problems. The problems get solved. Some car generations will be abandoned on the road to full no interruption FSD, and that's okay. Yeah, I mean that may be true. I mean, I think that Model S and X are done as far as I'm concerned, but they keep making them. FSD is mind blowing. Navigating 2 to 3 lane roundabouts, amazing. Yeah, there's amazing stuff happening there. I don't know who Hopping Rabbit is, but Mark is bouncing them, so I'm gonna hide that user on this channel. So Hopping Rabbit will not bother you anymore, Mark. Yeah, I've never been more bullish. I think everything's great. I shocked that people are concerned. What great things did Drew effectively see completed before he felt okay to move on? Supercharger. Drew was in charge of superchargers. Superchargers are growing fantastic. Megapack is doing really well. 4680 is doing really well. Powertrain, they're making lots of progress on Tesla powertrain. Plaid powertrain was probably Drew's baby. At least he was, involved in that one. Fantastic stuff. From a hardware perspective, vision is the only thing. And I will just say, like, I met Drew in person at the Plaid event. Great guy. Was part of a 30-minute conversation with a group of people with Drew and Franz together, and just loved the guy. Watched his video. Look for Drew Baglino Stanford talk. I have a video that analyzing it, but you can watch the basic talk. I think Drew is fantastic. From a hardware perspective, vision is the only thing necessary when you have AI to process everything. LiDAR adds too much complexity. It adds energy consumption, radar, etc. How old? My girlfriend is 36. I've not been an FSD Tesla yet. Looks amazing. Omar's videos are impressive. It's not just Omar. There's many, many videos out there. Watch Chuck Cook's videos. Chuck does a really good job with his videos. Omar does a good job too. Just saying that Chuck Cook's videos are fantastic. You actually believe a new physical product will be announced on FSD Day? I don't call it FSD Day. I think on August 8th there will be a reveal of the robotaxi. That's what Elon said. I think they will show something about the car. I don't think they will necessarily give us all the details. And I think it's more likely that they will show us more about the factory, because the purpose of events like this for Tesla is usually to recruit engineers to help develop what they're doing. So they may do some sort of an AI day thing where they talk about what they're doing with FSD version 12 or FSD version 13, and they may talk about the manufacturing process in the factory. I think those are the big deals. They must be able to put the robotaxi in a boring tunnel straight away. So I don't worry that much about boring tunnel robotaxis because there aren't enough boring tunnels for that to matter. And there's also not enough data. Like if you think about it, you need to generate data for the situation. And there, I don't know that there's enough miles of boring tunnel and enough vehicles operating the boring tunnels to generate enough data to meaningfully train an AI to deal with that situation. It may be enough. I don't know, but I don't know that it's just not a high priority because it's not a high volume situation. Uber drivers help load and unload luggage. An onboard Optimist would be expensive, but maybe an option for deluxe taxi. You know, every time some Uber driver gets out of the car and I have 15-kilogram bags, and these Thai guys who are like half my weight, or Vietnamese guys or whatever, and it's these grab cars get out of the car and they're trying to help me lift the baggage, and I'm like, look, I'm 97 kilos. It's a 15-kilo bag. I train on lifting 25 kilo, on carrying 25-kilo dumbbells and 30-kilo dumbbells. I'll take care of it. But yeah, are there people who are going to wish they had an Optimist on board or somebody to help them with their luggage? Sure. But the guy isn't carrying their luggage into the house for them. They had to carry their luggage to the Uber. They can get it out of the car. There's so many people with so many negative perspectives. It's just silly. Can't wait for all the Tesla owners switch to the $99 a month and free trials soon. It's more about, I think the $99 a month and the free trials are about generating more data so that they can train the AI more effectively. How much impact did Tesla if Franz left? It would be a big deal, but I'm sure that there's other people on the team to take over. It's like people think that there's like this mission critical employee here. The only really mission critical employee is probably Elon. If Elon left, that would be a bigger impact. But even then, there's a lot of people on the team who understand the mission. Might Tesla buy Uber or Lyft? So Uber is currently valued at like over $100 billion, and Lyft is valued at like $7 billion. If I was Tesla and I was going to buy one of them, I would buy Lyft. I think the question there is just what are you getting when you buy that adds value to Tesla? And I don't think Tesla needs either of them. But maybe something about how customers use the product, use the service. Like maybe there's some valuable data in there. Like these are places where people like to be picked up and people like to be dropped off. Might be useful information. But more likely, Robotaxi drives Uber and Lyft into bankruptcy, and then they pick up one of them for nothing. Where's the electricity coming from? Did you see the electric Viking on PV panels as construction materials? I don't think it matters about PV panels as construction. I think that we're just going to see massive deployment of solar panels. I see all these roofs when I go around Thailand. I see all these large roofs without solar panels on them. Occasionally, I see some roofs with solar panels on them. It's Onnut Station, ONNUT Station. You can actually go on Google Maps and you can look for ONNUT BTS, and you can, I think from the Google Street Maps or Google Map View, or sorry, satellite view, you can see that right next to the station there's this big building with a mostly flat roof, and it's a Lotus department store, or Lotus as they say it in Thailand, a Lotus department store, which is a British company, Tesco. And it's this massive store with like groceries and other stuff, not department store, but grocery store, and it's kind of like a Walmart. And there's like other, the first floor is like restaurants that are not owned by Lotus. Why is that not covered in solar panels? There's so much electricity available to be generated by all the sunlight that is falling on roofs that don't have solar panels yet. PV panels as construction materials is a nice idea, but I don't think it's necessary, and I think it's probably more expensive than value it generates. Do I believe Grok will be integrated in the Tesla FSD interface somehow? Yes, I believe, not necessarily the FSD interface. I think the Tesla cars will have Grok in them. I think that's almost a certainty that will happen within a year. Vegas loop running probably gets them plenty of data from the tunnels. It's just not a priority. But yeah, of course they will have robotaxi in the tunnels. It's just not a priority yet. Alpha Cruises, is YouTube filtering out my comments again? I see your comment, Alpha Cruises. There's so many comments, I can't catch every comment in the chat. I am a kilo guy now. How are you able to keep up with all Tesla and Elon news? You know so much. I'm on X 24 hours a day. When I'm not sleeping, I'm on X. If you want to keep up with news of any kind, X is the platform to keep up with it. The China team did most of the design work for the Refresh 3, so Tesla's people can handle it if Franz left, as sad as that would be. Have I considered doing a space on... I did a space on X like 12 hours ago. I did a space... Was it 12 hours? Maybe it was like 10 hours ago I did a space. I did a large space on X that had like 800 people in it. Doesn't it rain a lot in Thailand? I believe it rains a lot in Thailand, but not this time of year. I think we're about to enter rainy season, but it hasn't quite happened yet. Is inflation a problem there? People complain about inflation wherever you are. I have not noticed that inflation's a problem here, but it might be. I don't think it's a significant problem in Japan or Asia or Thailand, but it might be somewhere. I don't follow that stuff. We know the percent of that. I think that economic growth is a concern in Thailand. There's been a lot of concerns about economic growth. What I see is Bangkok has large economic growth, and outside of Bangkok, the rest of Thailand struggles with economic growth. Do we know the percent of Tesla that Elon actually owns? I believe he owns 13% of the shares, and he has additional options that would take him close to 20%. I don't think he needs a 25% ownership to keep the mission on track. I think he wants a 25% ownership. But I think the problem is with the 7% additional, like he probably has to pay half of that in taxes, if not more. So I think if he got to 20% ownership, that would probably be enough. I'm not really worried about that detail. How do we know Tesla will win humanoids? There are so many competitors. There's lots of people who say they're making bots, but do they have the manufacturing capacity? Do they have the AI team? Do they have the real world AI development plan? It's easy to prototypes are easy, manufacturing is hard. Let's see who manufactures bots in volume. I would bet you that Tesla manufactures bots in meaningful volume before anybody else, and more productive bots that are able to do more. Grok doesn't need to be the driver. FSD is the driver. Solar still works in the rain. I believe you. I don't know. I don't know how much less electricity solar generates in the rain. I believe it generates less, but it still generates a lot. Space travel is God and Robert Heinlein intended. Amen, baby. I know that YouTube deletes my comments sometimes. YouTube does restrict comments. There's comments on on the videos themselves, and there's comments in the chat, and they're different. I have things in my YouTube automatically moves some comments into like a thing for me to review before they become public. And I have some filters, like if you mentioned CCP, I found that there were a lot of commenters that this seems to have gone away, but there was a lot of anti-Chinese government people who just like spammed my comments with anti-CCP posts, and I just made CCP a code word that it got sent into the review thing, and most of them were crap. Do I think FSD development will dictate the next vehicles because less vehicles will be necessary? I don't think less vehicles will be necessary. To replace a global fleet of 2 billion vehicles, we're going to need a high volume of vehicles for a long time. And I think if we're able to lower the cost of transportation, then demand for transportation will go up, and you might need more vehicles than you thought. We thought that ATMs would reduce demand for banking and bank tellers, and we ended up with more bank branches and more tellers. It's very hard to predict the future when it comes to something like that. Um, Commercial space travel to the moon and Mars will be huge. Absolutely. Do I record my X spaces? The X spaces are recorded. If you go to my profile, it was within the last 12 hours, last 24 hours, whatever. I do record my X spaces usually. I don't record them and then repost them on YouTube, but they're recorded on X. Are there? And that was a good space. And there were several people. Jordan Gieske from the Limiting Factor was in there. There were several others. We had a great conversation. Are there lots of megapacks in Thailand? I don't think there are meaningful megapacks in Thailand yet. I'm hoping that Tesla will expand that. Tesla's here. I've seen in the Tesla show, I don't know if you call it a Tesla store. There's a Tesla space in a mall called Siam Paragon, third floor. And I think they mentioned Powerwall. But that's not a place you would sell Megapack. Megapack is sold to utilities and large businesses. Are people still worried about Elon's intentions if he doesn't get his due compensation back? I don't think worried is the word I would use. I'm excited about the future. This video isn't like, I do think if you're a Tesla shareholder, you're going to benefit greatly from all these things that are happening. If Elon decides to focus his time on XAI instead of Tesla, like I'm not going to blame him. I think he's doing what he can for humanity, and I'm concerned about humanity. Dio von Moat, could you shed more light on why Hertz failed? Did it happen too early? I don't think Hertz failed. I think that Hertz made the decision at this point in time, the cost advantages of running Teslas weren't there. Now, maybe the next generation vehicle will have more advantages and make it work better. I don't know. And then the falling price of vehicles in general maybe hit Tesla a little harder. I don't know. And I think it's also like the challenge of educating your drivers how to use a Tesla. It's not the same as getting in a gas car, so there's little details, and maybe Hertz wasn't good at training people. These are some things you need to know before you drive this car. I don't know. Tesla van will double as a bus, absolutely. Elon likes the Mercedes Sprinter. I think that's a good estimate, the Mercedes Sprinter. YouTube interface is easier than X. I think that X has some work to do to make the video platform better. I actually follow some people on X and had a little bit of engagement with somebody I really like on X, and he said that it's going to get better. And I have no doubt that it's going to get better. And I will say there's a decent chance that if the X platform improves for video content, then I'm likely to change my live streams to X. But right now, live streaming on X just isn't as good. Like, not even close. It's frustrating. I'm the only YouTuber without doom and gloom perspective. I'm pretty sure Stephen Mark Ryan is not doom and gloom. I'm pretty sure Farzad is not doom and gloom. I'm pretty sure that Herbert is not. Herbert's a little doomy sometimes, but I don't think he's doom and gloom. Precision fermentation, very interesting, Mark. I want to hear more about that. I think that precision fermentation, I've seen little bits and pieces of that. I think that's really potentially good. People will have to replace their gas guzzlers at some point. The average age of pickups, passenger cars is 12.5 years. The average lifespan is 12 years. Yeah, so what you have is you have a world where we have 2 billion vehicles on the road that are almost all gas. A vast majority of the cars being produced today are gas cars, and the vast majority, and so probably for another 5 years, you're going to see significant gas car production. So you're really like 20 years out from eliminating gas cars. It's going to take that long to do it. The first 100 robots will make Mars human habitats more fun and healthier than many on Earth. The first 1,000 will New Eden on Mars. I think it's going to be more than 100 on Moon, and more than 1,000 on Mars. I mean, over time, yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of big things there. But it's not. I don't expect. We're not going to see Eden. Eden is going to be a long time for Mars. Eden and Moon will never be Eden because Moon can't sustain an atmosphere. Predictions for Mexico plants. Look, we see. I think Tesla started selling vehicles in, was it Chile? One of the South American countries just opened a Tesla store. They're starting to sell. So we're going to see an expansion of Tesla sales in Latin America soon. The supercharger network doesn't go all the way to the southern edge of Mexico. There's no real supercharger network in Latin America yet. That's got to be coming, and when that happens, that'll be great. Like Hertz customers kept damaging the cars and they couldn't keep up with the repair costs. A lot of new EV drivers are not used to the quick acceleration. I don't know what the underlying. I didn't think it was anything that complicated. It was just the business model didn't work for Hertz yet, but they'll look at it in the future. Do I think Tesla will allow Tesla owners to put their car in the robo-taxi network if they're just paying the $99 monthly? So that's a good question, Jerry. My feeling is that Tesla will want every Tesla owner to put their car in the robo-taxi network, and they will offer a package that will incentivize people to put their car in the robo-taxi network, whether you paid for FSD or not. I'm pretty radical on this. I think that my thinking before was that if you bought robo-taxi, you'd be able to put your vehicle in the robo-taxi network, and if you didn't, you wouldn't. But Tesla's going to want as many vehicles in the robo-taxi network as possible. So even if you haven't paid for FSD at all, Tesla will want you to put your vehicle in the robo-taxi network. Now, maybe they will offer a little bit of a sweetener for people who have paid for FSD, but I don't know. When can we expect Warren Jr.? At least 10 months. Yeah, Hertz did a bad job. I don't know how bad of a job Hertz did. I think there's an occasional story where Hertz did something bad, and that doesn't mean that they did a bad job overall. Does Elon respond to me on X? Elon has replied to me on X at least 20 times. I've lost count. Like a week ago was the last time he replied. Usually they're just like laughing faces or something like that. The price cuts hurt the Hertz balance sheet. Have you thought about when the first private restaurant will open not on Earth? It's a good question. I think that's a question of whether you're going to see a large space station that's capable of having private restaurants before you see that on the moon. I think Mars is probably going to take longer to get there. So it's either the moon or an orbit. Will we see some sort of orbital tourist hotel? I think that could happen within 10 years. I would rather visit Mars than just be in orbit. I mean, the moon, I would rather visit the moon than just be in orbit. We'll see. You build your Eden, I will build mine. It might look like a mud hut, but it is paradise for me. Yeah, I'm not building an Eden. I'm just building a nice structure that will be able to house the Podcar company and myself and my family and my girlfriend's family and others. Anything new coming on Tesla Energy? I think that Megapack is growing, not as fast as we would like, but it's growing, and we have a China mega factory that's underway. And I think we're probably going to see a mega factory in India. Maybe we're going to see something in Thailand. I think a lot's happening. The only viable car insurance company that would cover the use of FSD for robotaxi will be Tesla at first. So I think this is a very popular misunderstanding about car insurance. If you understand how Uber car insurance works, when you pick up the ride, I think it's when you get the command to go pick somebody up until the time that you drop them off, you are covered by Uber. But when you first start driving for Uber and you don't have a ride requested yet, at that point in time, you're driving commercially and your car insurance doesn't cover you and Uber insurance doesn't cover you. And you have to pay for extra insurance from your insurance company to cover those periods. With Tesla, once the car is driving itself, Tesla's on the hook. There's no, our insurance becomes irrelevant. Tesla is the car insurance company. Tesla will self-insure and Tesla will take care of it, and it will be a small problem because they will crash far less. And you will have full video, and if somebody crashes into a Tesla, you'll have video of the incident. It'll be obvious that somebody else crashed into the Tesla and it's their fault. The scare tactics by the bears are ridiculous right now. Makes me think this will rocket pretty soon. Panda says, Warren, why are you up at 1 a.m.? Did you just file your taxes? So it is just after noon in Thailand. And I actually thought about waiting to do this video later in the day here, like 10 o'clock here would be 11 a.m. in the US, or 9 o'clock here would be 10 a.m. in the US. My girlfriend works at like 7:30 p.m. So 8 p.m., 9 p.m. would be a good time to do the live stream. But I was just motivated to do this video, so I decided to do the video. And I realize it's kind of late for the US East Coast, but West Coast is doing good. What timeline do I see for bot? I think that we will see one more generation of bot in the next 6 months or so. I think sometime in the next year or two, we're going to see Tesla producing a significant volume because they need a large number of bots in order to generate the data. And then once they get real world AI working on the bot and the bot becomes more effective, then they start producing at scale and you start seeing 1 million bots a year, and then you start seeing 10 million bots a year, and then you see 100 million bots a year. And I would say by 2035, Tesla's producing 100 million bots a year. When am I going to Mars? LT says. I don't think I'm going to Mars unless something radically different changes. The problem with Mars, so Mars is good for somebody who doesn't feel the need to be in, he's either bringing their family with them or doesn't have significant family left. Like if it wasn't for my children, I wouldn't have significant family left on Earth, but I have children. If you go to Mars, it's a 30-month trip minimum. You are not going to see your family in person for 30 months. Maybe they can get it down to 26. It's probably a 30-month trip. And then communication, it takes 4 minutes. At the shortest, when Earth and Mars are at their closest, it takes 4 minutes for light to travel from Earth to Mars. So you won't even be able to have a live conversation with your family on Earth. It's that difficult. So I don't see myself going to Mars because I have significant family on Earth. Something could change that, but hopefully not. Sandy is tearing down the Cybertruck. No, the extra room in the battery chamber is for crush zone because the extra room is on the underside, so it allows some additional crush if you hit something underneath the truck. That's Sandy's explanation for it. I don't think the extra room in the battery. I don't think Tesla needs extra room in the battery chamber for more batteries. Future battery chemistries will have higher energy density, and that will be significant. Is Tesla insurance cost competitive with traditional insurance? My understanding is Tesla insurance is significantly cheaper than traditional insurance if you are a good driver. The use of your car for robotaxi will still have an impact on the premiums for your non-commercial insurance. No, you won't. You might not drive the car. If you have a robotaxi, it's not going to have a steering wheel. Tesla's insuring it all the time because the car drives itself. Probably see a coffee shop on commercial station before a restaurant. Yeah, the coffee shop will have, donuts or something. Caffeine, weird microgravity effects. Good question. Have I decided to stay in BKK or somewhere in Thailand now? I have pretty much decided to stay in Bangkok. BKK is short for Bangkok, for anybody who doesn't know that. So it looks like I'm going to be living in Thailand long term, in Bangkok long term. Living formally, technically, I'm a U.S. resident. I will still be a nomad. I still expect to travel to other places. Thinking about creating a nomad channel called Bikini Nomad. I don't wear the bikini. My girlfriend wears the bikini. Haven't decided if we're actually going to do that yet. But nomad life continues with a base in Bangkok. Is Adrian Dittman an AI version of Elon? His voice and choice of words is too close to Elon. I think it's highly unlikely that Adrian is an AI version of Elon. FSD. For one thing, like Adrian, he would have to be AI. He can't be another human version of Elon. So, but no, I don't see him likely being an AI. I don't think that an AI could react in real time the way that he does, in the depth that he does. FSD, it's much more likely that he's just a guy who sounds a little bit like Elon than that he's an AI version of Elon. FSD could one day be an AI service for robots of many form factors and not just for cars or humanoid robots. Exactly. Like roofing bots. How's the pod car coming along? I just started trying to recruit engineers to help me build pod car prototypes. Literally just started reaching out to people on LinkedIn 2 days ago. I got one reply that was, I think, a no, but I didn't read it yet. And I'm kind of thinking, all right, what space am I going to be in? And then what space is the pod car developed? So the space that I'm in now, there's a backyard, so we could store the batteries outside. So this particular space is really good for the pod car, and the room that I'm in could conceivably be the room for the first engineer to live in. Although most likely I would just pay them more, and they would have to get their own place to live. It's Mars is not a one-way trip for life, but it might be. Some people might choose to make it a one-way trip for life, but there will be returns. What is my occupation? Shit poster on X? I don't know. I'm a content creator. I'm a retired lawyer and a content creator. An active duty content creator on X and on YouTube primarily. I would cheerfully go to Mars after an age reset from 70 to 30. I think that I am 58 and I'm heading towards 70. It seems like pretty fast. I go to the gym almost every day. I'll be going to the gym after this live stream probably. I was in the gym for like 2 hours yesterday. I think that if you go to the gym every day, I played basketball with a guy who was 70 years old and he was better than me, and this was when I was 50. So you can be really healthy. And then you'd want to make sure the ship to Mars has a lot of exercise opportunities, and there's exercise opportunities on Mars because you're going to need to do all that to stay in shape. Wouldn't it be cheaper to send bots to Mars instead of humans and life support systems? I think there will be the ratio of bots to humans on Mars will be at least 10 to 1. But you will still send humans to Mars. Happy Songkran, did you get shot by water guns? I got shot by water guns. I got splashed. I got in a pool. I got in waterfalls. I had lots of water experiences in Songkran. I was walking with a friend last night and he got soaked and I was fortunate not to get hit. Warren is going to snag all the engineers at Tesla dump. No, I'm just looking for one right now. When my dad took our family from the Netherlands to Canada, it was essentially goodbye to all you've known. Mars would not be such so. Yeah, like my grandfather came from Poland in 1903 or 1910. I'm getting confused. Maybe he was 3 years old in 1910. When my ancestors came to America from Europe, it was pretty much goodbye to all you've known. It was a bigger move than moving from Earth to Mars, I believe. The atmosphere is better on Earth, but they pump air into the battery, and my theory that the extra ACE helps it float better, and the pump air. They do there's a bunch of things that they do in the battery pack. Watch Sandy Munro's video about the Cybertruck battery pack. Really interesting stuff that they talk about. I think there's more coming. Do I think some of these big gas station companies, Speedway, Shell, start to put electric vehicle chargers on their property with their gas pumps, especially with the new infrastructure bill? They already do. I mean, Wawa has a lot of Tesla superchargers. Buc-ee's has a lot of Tesla superchargers. And those are two big ones. Sheetz, I think Sheetz has them. Here in Thailand, PT has electric vehicle chargers. What time is it in Thailand, Warren? It is 12:18 p.m., just afternoon. Mars is just the first step into a fantastic. Yeah, I would say Mars is a big step, but beyond Mars, there are other places in the solar system, and eventually we want to see if we can spread humanity to other stars. I mean, it's like, why not? Let's go out and explore the universe. Let's turn science fiction into reality. I'm hearing Grok will be integrated in the operation of FSS. I have not heard that. I just expect that Grok will be integrated into the car. It will be integrated into Optimus. It will be integrated in a lot of products. Wow, DeWiz, awesome. Awesome. 55 kilometers. That's a lot of riding. I walked, what did I do yesterday? My fitness thing's going to be pretty crappy for today, but yesterday I did 12,000 steps, 5.1 miles, and that doesn't include 2 hours in the gym. All right, so I think I've gone long enough. I want to close with this point. The future is wonderful. There's always a chance that we'll screw it up, right? But right now, everything that I'm seeing, the future is going to be fantastic. We're going to see Tesla grow. We're going to be Tesla providing robo-taxi transportation service at massive profits that'll make us Teslaonaires. We're going to see Optimus grow. We're going to see Optimus providing great goods and services. We're going to see the roads are safer, the air is cleaner. Lots of great things from Tesla. We're going to see great things from SpaceX, humanity on the moon, humanity on Mars, humanity in orbit, humanity beyond Mars. Satellite internet anywhere you go on Earth. Satellite internet on Mars from Starlink orbiting Mars. You're going to see tremendous, tremendous change. Neuralink is going to cure brain diseases and allow us to communicate better with computers and with each other. Boring Company is going to further improve transportation on Earth and a variety of other things. As long as we don't die from nuclear war, the future will be great. I mean, it's nuclear war. There's other nightmare scenarios, but I just think everything's. I am perpetually optimistic, and I think optimism breeds good things. Look, I decided three or so years ago I wanted to have kids again, and I started looking for a woman, and it was a long, hard road, and I just kept plugging and I kept plugging. I gave 2 years in the U.S. and it didn't work out. I went to Japan, and I felt like it was making more progress, and then I ended up in Bangkok, and I found her. And I think if you just, what did somebody say, that you've got to manifest your future? If you're waiting for your future to happen to you, maybe it's not going to happen. But if you go out there and you reach for it and you make an effort to get there, then you might get there. And I want to stress, like when I talk about that future, I want to hit one last point. Sorry. It's not just rich Americans riding in Tesla vehicles. Tesla, Model 3s and Model Ys and robo-taxis. That's going to be the future. It's here in Thailand and other countries where you see 3 or 4 people on a scooter with no helmets and getting them into robo-taxis that cost less than that scooter and are more efficient and are cleaner and safer than that scooter. And all of a sudden, families in Thailand are safer. And the traffic fatality rate here is close to 40 per 100,000 per year, falls to less than the U.S. fatality rate. And people live longer here, and people live happier here, and you have less serious injuries here. And it's Thailand, and it's Malaysia, and it's the Philippines, and it's Vietnam, and it's Africa. And like, this spreads all over the world and makes life better all over the world. I don't think a robot spouse matters. Things are kind of crazy. When was the world not crazy? Was it the Vietnam War the world wasn't crazy? Was it World War II the world wasn't crazy? The Korean War, the Gulf War? When was the world not crazy? And my favorite Thai food is probably pad krapao, but I like lots of food. So my favorite Thai food is sushi. Thank you, everybody, so much. Thank you, Mark Plot, for managing the chat, and any other moderator who was there that I missed. And thank you all so much for watching. The future's great. Let's be excited. Let's make it happen. Bye-bye.